Welcome, by Billy Bones. Segment 2. A few things have changed in the segment. The main reason why, we figured out that in the late game, if you have not yet had bangers unlock the Tower of Alexandria, when you then try to return there, your character will be unable to open that door. You'll get stuck in a loop where your character keeps trying to open up the door and just glitches out and can't do it. You just get stuck in a loop and you can't progress. So we're going to need to have bangers unlock the Tower of Alexandria so we can get past that in the late game. What that means is we're going to need Yangus to get bangers to open the Tower of Alexandria. So for this segment, we're going to need to unlock Yangus. So we now have 3 goals: get the Sunrise, get Yangus, get to level 6. First thing we're doing is we're selling this Lime Crown. The reason we're selling this Lime Crown, it's worth 6,000 gold, we just need gold. On a casual playthrough, please don't do that. It's a useful item. You can alchemize it to be even more useful. There's only 2 in the entire game. There's only 1 in the Japanese version. It's a super rare drop if you want any more of them. But for us, we just need that gold. What we're going to use the gold for? First of all, Boomerang. That Boomerang's overpowered. It's going to mow through mobs very quickly. We're going to get to level 6 super fast. Also, we're going to need herbs so we can heal ourselves. There'll be a lot of things beating us up. Also, we're going to need wings so we can move around. We can't move around without wings right now. There is some synergy in our goals in this segment. We want to get to sunrise as fast as possible, as you already know. Luckily, you can change the time of day through the plot. When you're in Fairbury at this stage, it will always be dusk until you go and talk to Calderasha. As soon as you do that, it changes to night. And the later you get in these cutscenes, it gets later and later in the night, until the final cutscene where you sleep at the inn, it becomes morning again. So we're going to take the cutscenes as late as possible, try to get as late in the day as possible. And then we're going to leave, go do some things, watch the sunrise, watch the magic happen. If this is your first one of these, a few things to talk about. First, the fastest way to get through text is to mash triangle and to hold up on the analog stick. Reason for that, triangle will skip a section of dialogue and up will advance to the next one. So it's about twice as fast as just mashing on triangle as much as possible. Also, I run diagonally all the time. Reason why, it is considerably faster to run in the diagonal direction than it is to run straight, even in a town like this, where diagonal running means you're going to be bumping into things and meandering. I timed out the first 5 minutes of the segment. In that segment, there are 44 seconds of walking. That diagonal running. If you just do traditional running, even if it's super accurate, even if you're taking the shortest route, you're not bumping into anything, you're still losing 11 seconds. So you got about 25% extra speed by diagonal running instead of just traditional running. And that's in a town, the least efficient version of it is possible. It's even better in the open world. So you always want to be in the up right or up left direction to move around. But to keep running the walls, you also have to play with the camera, so you don't just run in a circle or you don't just bump into things all the time. So it's not the camera movement that does it, it's the being in the far up right or up left. The reason why we think this happens, the game has 2 speeds. It has a walk speed and a run speed. And the way it measures if you're walking or running is by distance from that center point. So if your analog stick is a little bit forward, you'll walk. If it's all the way forward, you'll run. So what we think happens is because in the up right or up left direction you're even further than full forward or full left would be, the game accelerates yet again. It's probably some equation or something, so you get another speed up boost if you're in those extreme positions. That's a theory anyway. We're getting through these cutscenes. If you haven't played the game before, what happens is you're looking in town to find somebody. Turns out that guy's dead. You're about to leave because they're throwing rocks at you and stuff. And then you get sucked into this wonderful Dostoevskian story about this girl and the father and everything else. And so you're going to help her. For our purposes, as soon as we have defeated Geyser and done all the cutscenes at the Calderasha residence, Yangus will rejoin the party. So that's their way of unlocking Yangus, who has been locked because of the opening glitch that we did in the first segment. That little movement there, everybody when they first start running the game, they screw up that run. When you first walk in, the stairs to go upstairs are behind you and to the left, and so a lot of people mess it up. The fastest way to get talking to Valentina right now is just to hold all the way forward and mash on X. You don't have to be facing her or anything. Because your character is in that position during the cutscene, you don't have to be right next to her, you just have to be at around that position and mash X. The downside of triangle advancing text is that it's also the button to say no to things. And this is going to be the first problem we have with that. We really need to say yes when she asks us to accept her quests, because if we say no, she sits back down and wastes some time. So we have to keep mashing on triangle until we know that the yes is coming, and then we have to switch and hit X. Luckily, there's a little scene break. So we'll say no, 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 and then it'll change the angle, and then now you have one triangle and an X. You say yes, you're out the door. This is the latest we can get into the night based on the plot, so this is the point when we're going to leave. Now, originally what I had done, and this is pretty much what I would do in an RTA route, is to just run around Fairbury, kill the gangs outside, take out OKS, get some levels that way, and start the cheese quest at the top of the waterfall. But it's segmented, might as well go for some crazy stuff. So instead of that, I'm going this way. Now, I can't kill any of these gangs. That kind of luck is just sort of beyond you. The only gangs you have a chance of killing are gangs of hammerhoods, because they can just psych up and miss all the time. The problem is, the hammerhoods don't spawn around here at night. They're here in the forest at all times of day, but on the grass in the field areas, they're only here during the day. So we can't encounter them because we're at night right now. Luckily though, we are capable of taking out the family doctor, who's going to give us a bunch of experience. The way that this game's clock goes as far as the time of day, it pauses when you're in a battle. So however many turns that battle takes, however long you're sitting on that screen, the time of day does not advance. Once you're out of the battle, if you're running in the open world or you're just standing in place in a town, then it will advance the time of day. So what we want to do is advance the time of day, and while we're doing that, we might as well get some things done. So things I'm going to get done, one, I'm going to grab a Seed of Strength, because that'll help me to take out guys even faster. Also, it'll always be helpful to be able to do more damage. Two, I'm going to take out the Family Doctor, and the Family Doctor is one encounter, so that'll be faster than fighting a whole bunch of encounters around Fairbury. Also, he gives 44 experience. In order to get 44 experience in the gangs around Fairbury, you would have to do at least 5 encounters. Chances are it'd be more like 8 encounters. Also, by taking out Family Doctor, he's also going to drop a coin that we can use for 200 gold. We're level 1 right now, so these gangs are just eating us up and we have no chance of defeating them. The game expects you to be level 10 or above right now. If you were just running through the game and you knew exactly what to do, but you were fighting all the gangs, you'd be probably around level 10 by the time you get to Port Prospect. We're level 1, and even though we've had some seeds, we're level 1. And we haven't yet bought overpowered equipment, so we're level 1, and we're under-equipped for this point of the game. The famous monsters, people like One Night Stand, people like Family Doctor, monsters that you can recruit into the monster arena, which we're not going to use at all. Those monsters, most of them will scale with your levels, so this is the easiest the Family Doctor will ever be, but we still can't kill him just by psyching up to 50 and attacking. He's too strong for that. And if we try to psych up to 50 and then attack again, he's going to heal in the interim. The way he's been programmed is, once his health gets below a certain point, he will cast heal, and that will undo all the hard work you've done. So what we're doing is we're attacking him once, so we get his health down within a range, such that we can psych up to 50 and kill him in one shot. Where we just attack, he would just keep healing, and it would be useless. We're burning a lot of herbs right now, because even though he's not the strongest enemy, he does a lot of damage to us because we're such a low level. So we're burning herbs all the time, constantly, just to stay alive. And then we'll get to 50 and we'll wipe him out, after we've done an opening attack. He also is fairly good at dodging, which can also totally ruin the segment. You cycle to 50, you attack, he dodges, that's it, might as well just reset. So again, not the same thing I'll be going for RTA. RTA, I would do the go around Fairbury, take out OKS, start doing Cheese Quest. Now that he's dead, we still have some time before the sunrise happens. The problem is there's nothing else around here that'd really be worth it at all to do. We can't get to Alexandria in time, so that's not worth it. So what we're going to do instead, we're just going to go straight to Port Prospect right now and wait around for the sun to rise. Once in Port Prospect, there's a few things we can do. There's a seed that we can grab. There's a little bit of gold we can grab. But as you notice, there's nothing to do. There are no NPCs. The reason for that, the game does not spawn NPCs in Port Prospect until you have a way to get to Port Prospect, and the game doesn't think you have a way to get to Port Prospect until you've already completed the Geyser quest. So there'll be no NPCs here until we complete the Geyser quest. But there is one little trick. Anytime the game is going from day to night or night to day, it has to change the NPCs in an area. And it doesn't realize that it hasn't spawned NPCs yet, so when it goes day to night, night to day, it will spawn all the NPCs that should be there at that time. So here during the transition, it will load these NPCs. Problem though, it doesn't do the whole town, it only does the ones in your immediate area. So if you go into a building, because that's a different scene, none of those NPCs will be there, because it'll be back to the way that this place was. And if you were to just go over here during the day, nobody would be here. It's only the transition that makes it happen. Luckily these shops are outside, so when the transition happens, we can actually get some shopping done, and we can use the excess amount of gold we have right now to buy some overpowered equipment. Now, things we're going to buy the axe, so that we can use that to take out slimes later on. We're going to buy the spear, so we can also use that to take out slimes later on, to get those crit spells. We're selling things in our inventory, mainly just to make room for things, so we don't have to rearrange our inventory and do a whole lot of menuing. It's better to just sell them, just get them out of the way, that way we can buy and equip and buy and equip. Another thing that I tried was to go and to start buying magic waters. That way I could try to avoid some of the encounters on Fairbury and the way to Waterfall Cave. The problem though is, right now we're at level 3, that's not quite enough to get rid of all the overworld encounters, just around Fairbury, between Fairbury and the Waterfall Cave. As far as I could tell, it skipped about one encounter, and it's extra menuing, so instead we just go straight and move this way. We have no health, but luckily there's a plot stated in coming up. You'll notice it was the day, now it's night. Why is it night? Because the plot says that it's night. So the plot determines what time of day it is no matter what. You'll notice this even on a casual playthrough. When you get to Wisher's Peak and do that cutscene there, it's always night no matter what time of day you enter Wisher's Peak at. The good news about this, once we go and stay at this inn, it will fully heal us and it will fully give us all of our magic points. Where would you just go through all the cutscenes and try to take out Geyser? The problem is, because at level 1 you have no magic points, we would never have magic points. We'd never be able to vac out of Waterfall Cave after taking out Geyser. But because we've gained some levels and now we've stayed here through the plot, we've gotten those magic points back. We now have enough magic points to cast a vac. So, good bit of synergy between all of our goals here. The gangs in this area are useless, experience-wise. This gang here, 2 slimes and a lips, that's 4 experience points. 4 experience points is nothing to us, that's not worth it at all. Our goal, we have to get to level 6. Level 6 requires Hero to have 310 experience points. We got 44 from the Family Doctor. We're going to get another 28 from the One Night Stand. We're going to get 107 from Geyser. The problem is, between 170 and 310, it's still a ways to go. The way we're going to get that experience points is through the encounters in Waterfall Cave. So these out here, they give us 4 and 6, it would take forever. Now the Satyr here gives a couple of experience points, he gives 3. The main reason I'm attacking, instead of just fleeing here, he might block the flee, which would be extra time. And if we just attack, we don't have that risk. Also, I don't have to change in the menu, equip the boomerang, attack with the boomerang. I can keep the spear, I don't do that extra menuing. And I'm going to want the spear because that's going to shut down, save some time on OKS. Where would you just have the boomerang and try to the OKS fight, where we psych up the 20 and attack? With the boomerang psyching up 20 to attacking, might kill him. The problem is, this game has a range of damage, and the amount that kills him is at the very high end of that range of damage. Chances are, you're not going to kill him. Whereas you will definitely kill him with the spear. Every part of the range of damage with the spear right now is his death range. So OKS down, another 28 experience points. And the copper monster coin. We have 2 of those, each one's 200 gold, so that's an extra 400 gold that will help us later on in the game. And the big thing is we just need that experience. Not very much going on a waterfall cave, just running through, taking out gangs with the overpowered boomerang. You'll notice, because our equipment is so good, they're not going to do any damage to us. The only thing that can still do damage, the fire monsters, because they're casting a spell, we can still take quite a bit of damage even though our defense is so high, because our fire resistance is not changed. So they're probably the most annoying enemy in here, are those fire spirits. My favorite enemy in here, definitely the skippers. Skippers give 12 experience points, and because of our really good equipment, even they do pretty much no damage. Now, RTA runners hate skippers. Reason why is they don't have all this amazing equipment because of the slime crown and because of the sunrise. So skippers can swing and do quite some damage. They can take you out, they can end a run, they can make you reset the whole game. Whereas for us with our great equipment, skippers are safe, easy experience. Problem here is we're not getting the best gangs. All these little slimes and the mechas, not great. Slimes are 1 apiece, mechas are 5, so that's 7 in an encounter. And as you already know, we have 140 experience to get through these gangs. Each skipper gives 12 experience, so if you got a whole bunch of those 2 skipper, 3 skipper encounters, you get there real quick. There is one saving grace in the waterfall cave, and that is the hammerhood, because he does give decent experience. He's one of the enemies you would see around the Port Prospect area, and he's not too dangerous of an enemy to fight. The only detour we took is that slight kink to the right to grab that leather hat. We don't need it for Geyser, it doesn't make the Geyser fight any safer. The reason to grab it is just we're not going to have a chance to upgrade hats for quite a while, so might as well get a couple extra defense points for later bosses and things. In later segments, equipment and gold are going to be scarce, so might as well grab something we can use. The lineup of characters makes a big difference too. If that bubble slime was the first enemy in the encounter, this would have taken fewer turns, because your boomerang does the most damage to the first enemy in line and the fewest to later ones. But because he's the last one, he takes the least damage if it takes more turns. You don't have to be physically counting every bit of experience in your head, every single amount. A good gauge is that you need to get to level 5 plus 1 good encounter. And that's where you want to be to fight Geyser. Then you'll get his 107 and you'll get to level 6. The reason I ran from those fire elementals is because they do quite a bit of damage with their attack and they take forever to die. And they don't give very good experience. So least favorite, and I ran from them. Now in this Hammerhood encounter, it would save 1 step if you were to switch to the spear, psych up to 20, and attack. That would save 1 turn. But that takes extra menuing. So the time you save just by hitting attack, attack, attack actually makes up for the time that it would take to get the spear, equip the spear, and keep going to psych up every time instead of just mashing attack, attack, attack. At this point in this run, things were looking bad. Because we'd gotten really bad encounters, we weren't even level 5 yet, we needed quite a bit of experience, and we kept getting more encounters like this. Luckily, it starts turning around a little later on. This was attempt number 162. There's still some time that could save off of this. For instance, if you got better encounters, if you got some skippers right away, if you got that good experience, you could just flee from later encounters, and that would save you some time through here. But from attempts 162 to 225, I never came within 45 seconds of this time. So it seems like it would be quite a work. Theoretically possible, but it would just take a lot more grinding. Take those last 15 or even 30 seconds out of the segment. And the saving grace here, those skippers. Thank you, skipper. Thank you. Yet another skipper. And if we'd never gotten these skippers, it would take so many more encounters. We think each of those Drakis are 2 experience points. Whereas the skipper is 12. So one skipper is 6 Drakis. And if you get an encounter with 2 skippers, that's 24 experience points. That's the equivalent of having to kill 12 Drakis. Or 24 slimes. I believe the next best are the Dancing Devils, which I believe give 7 experience points. The problem with them though, because we're just one character, if they cast the dance, there's nothing we can do. We'll just constantly dance over and over again, which is not helpful at all. So they're 7, which is better than most of the enemies here, but they're annoying because they could waste a full minute of time just making you dance over and over again. The reason we ran around to get that extra encounter, we weren't yet at a level where we could just kill Geyser and be at 6. So instead we ran around to get one more encounter, and luckily it was an encounter with skippers who were exactly where we want to be. And I switched to the spear because that's what we're going to be using to take out Geyser. At level 5 we get those extra skill points. I put all the points into spears for 2 reasons. 1, so we'd have the extra attack power when we go to take out Geyser. And 2, so we can crit slimes later on. When we go hunting for metal slimes and liquid metal slimes, being able to crit them is going to be a big deal. And eventually kick metal slimes. Also, the synergy at level 5, you get that extra attack power, which is going to make Geyser go super fast. Even though we're only one character, we're going to take him out super quickly. What we need to do is the psych up to 50. We psych up to 50, we attack twice, he's dead. Now, even though we have really good gear, Geyser can still swing for quite a bit, because he has this fairly good attack. So what we're going to do is just keep psyching up. After he's done 2 attacks, we need to take a break to heal. Luckily, Geyser takes a break after every 2 attacks. After every 2 attacks he does the Curse Mist. Hero will always block that, because power of Munchie, don't spoil it. He always blocks that, so as a result, we're just going to heal with an herb. Now, if you were to heal using the spell instead of an herb, that's going to drain all of your tension. Tension also affects your spells, so if you cycle to 50, you will heal so well. That will be the best heal spell you have ever cast. But it'll get rid of all your tension, and it'll totally waste time. Whereas herbs don't affect your tension anyway. If Geyser had more HP, we would have healed that far instead of attacking, but because it would have just attacked him, straight attack. We need to get to level 6 so we can cast Evac as soon as we defeat Geyser. That way we can get out of here quickly, and we can also use the Evac to get the boat, which is what we're going to do in later segments. We kill Geyser at about minute 25 of this segment. A good RTA using this version kills Geyser at about 35 minutes. So we've managed to make up about 10 minutes, but our opening segment was 16 minutes. So we're still about 6 minutes behind an RTA of this. But we're going to save a bunch of time because we can skip over to the next continent very quickly. But before we do that, we need to do the bangers, so we can actually get back into the Tower of Alexandria. Which then opens up a conundrum. Going and doing bangers is doing about half of the Jessica cutscenes. There's one boss and a few more Jessica cutscenes. If you do those, that unlocks Jessica and it gives you the alchemy pot, which is sort of even more important. So we'd get Jessica earlier, which means she'd be at a higher level later on in the game. Also it'd be in the alchemy pot. The downside is the extra time from those cutscenes. So now the decision's going to come up in the next segment whether to just do bangers, unlock the tower, get out of there, or to go all the way through to unlock Jessica because of the advantage that she brings and the alchemy pot brings later in the game. So expect to see a number of different versions from my next segment as I time all these things out. Next things we'd have to do in this area, go over to Calderasha residence, do all those cutscenes. Once all that's done, we have Yangus, and we're free in the world, and we've unlocked bangers, and we can use bangers to open up that tower. The reason why we're saving right now, this is the closest we're going to be to a church for quite some time. Rather than having to run all the way back here, we might as well pop in the church, which is almost on our way over to the Calderashas, which is just around the corner. Final time of the segment, 43. Thank you.